Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be with all of you. It's wonderful to have the band here with us. Solos for everybody tonight?
Mistakes and all. Yeah.
Mistakes and all. I want to hear an Irish drum solo. Is that possible? We begin with Yismechu Hashamayim, which is not found in, actually is found in our prayer book on page 13. We hope you'll sing along.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam umelo. 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 Hashamayim, 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 Betagel Haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. Ya'alu Sadai v'chol asher bo. Ya'alu Sadai v'chol asher bo. Ya'alu Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. Ya'alu Sadai v'chol asher bo. Ya'alu Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. Az yiranenu kol hatzeya. Az yiranenu kol hatzeya. Az yiranenu kol hatzeya. kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu 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 Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodesho romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodesho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Turn now to page 10 as we join together in Hine Matov.
This is a setting we're bringing back from the past, written by the Nefesh Mountain Bands.
Past and future, they'll be back this spring.
Yes.
Turn now to page 20 and 21, where we'll join together in Lecha Dodi. When we reach the final verse, we will turn back to practices of ages past and welcome the Sabbath bride. Shabbat is seen as a sacred marriage, a time when God and the Israelites come together. And so the Israelites, at least in the days of the mystics, would go out into the fields to welcome God and to celebrate the new bride. We're not going to go out into the fields today. It's a little cold and it's a little bit of a schlep. But we will rise and turn and face the back door to welcome the Sabbath bride as if we were at a wedding. We'll do that in body and in spirit as we reach the final verse. For now, though, we join together in singing on page 20.
Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה בני שבת מקבלה. lecha דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקראת שבת לכו ונלחם, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. Verse 5, התעוררי כי בעורף חוני אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלי נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. בואי ושלום מטהרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלם, בואי חלם. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת וקבלה. Page 24. עליכם מלכי השרת, מלכי העליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלכי השרת, מלכי העליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלכי השרת, Tzedek Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedek Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedek Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
As we've just sung Shalom Aleichem, which asks us to welcome the Sabbath angels, take a moment, turn to your neighbors, greet them, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, introduce yourself, share a wish for Shabbat. Tell Drew something new and exciting going on.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat. So glad you could join us.
We turn back to our prayer books now to page 26. We join together in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbam.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uv'izman kariv imeru.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam ulal me'al maya. Yitbarach, yitbarach, ve'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yinaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsham, b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damiram be'alma, v'imeru.
Amen.
Amen.
As we turn the page, we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit.
I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. One more time, I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Hamevorach, Hamevorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach. Le'olam, le'olam, Amen. I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Oh, rain, oh, malala. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Page 32, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita, Akeinu Adonai Eloheinu, b'shovbenu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha. V'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu vahem nehegei yomam v'layla. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and know the love you have to give. page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue now on page 40 with Mi Chamocha.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
Spread the shelter of your peace.
Spread the shelter of your peace over us.
Guide us in wisdom.
Guide us in wisdom, passion and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom, Ve'hamidenu Shomerenu
for the sake of your name. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom, V'hamideinu Shomereinu
We turn the page and join together in Vishamru on page 44.
If you've been itching to dance, this is your time. You've got this huge space in the front here. You gotta fill it.
Joni, up. You.
Fish on the moving days from Elet HaShabbat. La'asotet HaShabbat ledogotam. Beritolam. Fish on the moving days from Elet HaShabbat. La'asotet HaShabbat ledogotam. Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם.
Now the rest of us get to rise up and join with them. So we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit and dance the night away. We join together on page 46.
Adonai, Sifatai Tivta, Ufi Yahid,
תהילתך אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Anorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently now through page 63, including both the prayers of the prayer book and the prayers of our own hearts. Please be seated at your own pace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amocha Tasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amocha Tasim Le'olam Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Ki Ata Melech Adon
tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Betov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam.
We turn ahead in our prayer books now to page 253, where we'll join together in the Mishaberach prayer, or prayer for healing. On this Shabbat, especially as a congregation, we think of Alex Botkin, David Eisenman, Judith Kovach, Carol Millian, Ira Berezovsky, Michael L., Carol S., Judy Schneider, Ron Falk, Jonah Hart, Selma Rive, Claire Meehan, Murray Reinwald, Kat Winslow, Noah Robbins, Tina Smith, Ed Goldston, Rosalind Richmond, Natalie Rosenblum, Batya Edith Batsara Pesach, Stanley W., Annabelle J., Rose D., Ann Gelman, Stuart G., Harav Rachel Bat Shmuel Ufruma, Ruth Yar. Are there other names to mention this evening for healing?
Susan Blackman.
Margie Goldstein, Bill Reisberg, Andrea Reisberg.
We continue to pray for Jen Bett as well, even though she's back up on the bima with us. We're looking forward to the day when she's back up with 2 working feet. Me too. We join together on 253.
Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shleimam, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, healer of the sick. And now some moments to share good things, birthdays, anniversaries. Let's start with the band. Maybe the saxophone player has something you'd like to share. Anything going on in your world today? Toi.
This is my week to celebrate my 39th birthday. And coming here today was the highlight of my birthday. And playing with everybody here.
And sitting next to me.
And sitting next to this two-legged person here on my right. Headed to Cleveland next week to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Cleveland Museum of Art.
Nice.
So it's wonderful being here.
Many happy more. Anybody else have good news up here?
Aside from Paul.
Happy birthday, Paul. But also, my elder daughter starts her new job next week, so she is a full-time employed person in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow, mazel tov.
And we're buying her a condo, so, because it's cheaper than rent.
Wow. Anybody else in the band? Going once, going twice? Who else has something good to share? I'm assuming this means your fuses got fixed?
So Samuel is joining us today, which is always good news, but he brought somebody new with him. This is Sarah, and we're really excited that she's going to be coming to Mostly Musical.
We're glad to have her. Uh-oh.
So I get to go to Montreal at the middle of next week to go meet up with some of my old Army buddies,
Nice.
some of whom are coming in from Israel after a wedding of one of their kids.
Nice. Who else has something good to share? Nobody else over here? We'll work our way over there, don't worry. Nobody was honored by the JCC and wants to talk about it? Really? Leo, will you say at least something about her?
She's wonderful.
Of course she is.
No, everything I know, and it was in the article, I learned from my mom, who always helped people, and from my husband, who knew that you judge a person by the person's heart, the person's brain. And I saw that every day, and it's what you do. And I hope my children see it.
We see it with you.
Oh, thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
I'm starting basketball.
Nice. Can you dunk? On some hoops.
The group I sing with, Infinity, got a write-up in the Post-Gazette.
Nice. Nothing? You don't want to talk about your new adopted daughter? We'll get you down there. We'll get you down there. Another volunteer of the year? Nothing out of you?
It's always fun and always fun, and it's always nice to have all that help we get.
You're not going to add anything to that, Shirley? I've never known you to be quiet. Now all of a sudden,
I just said,
after 99 years, you're going to go quiet.
the God forbid.
I have a 25-year-old granddaughter who works for Price Waterhouse, and she just closed her first multi-million-dollar deal. And we're all very excited. She's doing very well, except she's moving.
All right, I know we had hands back here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with my two sons, Chet and Gregory, and our friend Stephen.
Nice.
And Gregory walked in the door this morning and surprised me from California.
Wow.
Total surprise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. It's good to have you all here. I'm not sure I should give you a microphone.
So, it's a crappy reason. It's my brother's first yard site, but my brother's wife, Mel, and his daughter, Lauren, drove up from Georgia, and my mom and my other brother and one of his sons are here, and it's really good to see them.
Nice. Nice.
We have a new baby. She was a month old yesterday, and we're very excited to have a new granddaughter.
And her initials are DF, which are really good initials.
She's named for my mother.
Not for Dan Feldman?
I keep trying. I keep trying.
Okay, I have two things to share. The first thing is that I got an 81 out of 80 on my science test. I got to see like the results of the test today. And then the second one, I got to see Les Mis with my dad.
Nice. In French or in English?
English.
Parlez-vous français?
I would have preferred it to be in French. The only sentence I know in French is Je suis le grand fromage, which means I am the big cheese. And the other word I know.
Mimi, don't encourage it.
Finishing up our first week in our new house in Mount Lebanon.
Nice.
And just found out my niece got offered a full-time position at Deloitte in South Africa. So she
Very nice.
starts on the 12th.
Nice. Very nice. Anyone else? What? Oh, Mimi? Oh, Lord. Joni, do I trust her? Should I trust her?
Trust her. No, you don't trust Judy. You can trust me. It's too complicated to explain, but for the first time in many, 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 many months, Alex has good medical news.
Good. Good, good, good. I think that's... Do you have any good news to share? Nothing. Let's see what we got online. Hold on one second. Watts had a great latke class this past week, except for the fuse blowing. And this coming week, there's a soup class. Lenore Wasidlo, my younger son has accepted a job in Norfolk, Virginia at Huntington Industries, working in the naval shipyards. Dick and Dana Green are celebrating their 53rd wedding anniversary on December 21st. And Dick Green is celebrating his 80th birthday on December 7th. So mazel tov on both of those. And Susan writes in, good news, I got my daughter's passport and visa for her semester abroad. That's always good. And Sarah Perman writes in, I now have a new floor in my upstairs bathroom and a new toilet as well. That's always good news. And she has a new cat to go with the new bathroom and the new toilet. But the cat isn't using the toilet yet. In time. On that note, I think we should sing.
Ose shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Hey, ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom. I went to school, my undergraduate degree was in a little liberal arts school in Colorado. And there was not a Jewish studies department at this school. I graduated with a degree in politics, of all things. But there was a Holocaust class that was taught. And the professor who taught the Holocaust class was a historian, but his specialty was military history. And I kept being warned, you're not going to like this Holocaust class. You shouldn't take it. It's not going to be something that sits well with you as a Jew. And I kept thinking to myself, that doesn't sound right. First of all, it seems strange to learn Holocaust studies from the perspective of a military historian. The story of the Shoah is so much bigger than that. But it also seemed strange to me that I couldn't learn something from him. So I signed up for the class. And it turned out to be among the most profound classes I ever took, as much as anything, because he helped me open my eyes to see things that I hadn't seen before. And good teachers do that. Good teachers open our eyes to new understandings, to new concepts, to looking at the same thing we've looked at 3 different times, but looking at it in a new way. So Dennis Showalter started us in the Holocaust history class with a book called Hitler's Willing Executioners. Anybody know that book? It's a hard book to read. It talks about how regular Germans bought in to what Hitler was preaching, and how regular everyday folks who were no different than you or I suddenly became monsters, and how they enabled this terrible tragedy to take place. He started us with that because he wanted us to understand how easy it is for humans to change, and how easy it is for humans, as frail as we are, to go the wrong way, and how much, as a military historian, he had learned that militaries had to consistently right that wrong. And so we then proceeded to study the Holocaust, sometimes more battle-driven than in other parts of the class, but it was from this perspective of how do regular people change? What happens? And I confess, over these last months, and particularly this last week, I've thought a lot about Professor Showalter, because I'm hearing something, 2 things really, that tell me things are changing. On the one hand, I'm hearing more and more anti-Semitic vitriol coming from all sorts of places. And even more troubling, I'm hearing silence in response to it. So let's test this out for just a second. How many of us have heard a Jewish friend talk about rising anti-Semitism over the last 3 months? A fair number of us. Now put your hand down. How many of you have heard about it this week? Also a fair number. Now, how many of us have heard those same statements made by somebody who is themselves not Jewish? Raise your hands. Look how much smaller the number is. Look how much smaller the number is. How many of us have heard from ministers, clergy of other faiths? I can tell you as a rabbi who has good friends who are clergy of other faiths, in this community and other communities, it's a goose egg. I haven't heard from a single one. Not one. Not here in Pittsburgh, not in anywhere else I've spent time. Nobody has reached out to say, Dan, what I'm hearing is terrible and I want you to know I'm with you. Not one. I have dear friends from high school. I was on a Zoom with them last night. It's a group of guys. We get together every few weeks. We've been friends now for 35 years. They're bright, well-educated people. I know where their hearts are. Not a single one of them said a peep about it last night. Not once. Not once. On Facebook, I've seen friend after friend post about it, and the responses are all from Jewish people. So what's happening in our country? What's happening that instead of a massive response that says, Kanye and his ilk need to be kicked to the curb. We're instead hearing silence. What's going on when one of the major political parties has a candidate, the leading candidate maybe, having dinner with a neo-Nazi, and the rest of the party isn't pushing him? Jewish leaders are pushing back at him, but the whole rest of the party apparatus is silent. What's that say? What's happened to our Golden Medina? I don't know how to phrase that, how to sign that one. Sorry. Our golden land. That's close to Golden Medina. What's happened to the dream? What's happened to the America that we all grew up on? What's happened to the America that we all praise, that we all love, that we all support? Have we gone soft? Has the country gone that far off the rails? Now, the president certainly has spoken up about it, but it's not a partisan issue. And if I only talk about the president, I'm going to be pretty quickly accused of being partisan. And that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is say, we have an issue in this country today that we need to see and we need to work on. Fuentes and Kanye are representative of a much bigger problem. It's not just them. If you saw Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago, it's part of the same problem. I thought Dave Chappelle was a funny guy up until that night. When he spoke after the election in 2016, taking drags on a cigarette, I thought he was brilliant. But what he exposed in his recent hosting was beyond what any Jew in America should have expected. But maybe it's time for us to change our expectations. Maybe the new realization is this promised land isn't quite all that. Maybe there's more work for us to do. So what then do we do? Our ancestors looked around when they landed in America, and they made the very same statement that Jacob makes after waking from a dream in the Torah portion this week. Jacob has this dream. He goes to bed, he lies down, and he sees this ladder going up to the heavens, and angels coming and going. And Jacob says, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, v'anochi lo yadati. There was God in this place, and I didn't know it. Our ancestors said that too. When they got off the ship in Ellis Island, when they were able to make a life in America, generation after generation of American Jews said again and again, Adonai b'makom hazeh, God is in this place. And we didn't know it. The question is, can our generation now say the same thing? Is God still in this place? And if God is, how can we help all of us know it? How can we make a world that says hate speech, the vitriol, is not acceptable under any terms? How do we recognize that what those people are saying are not just words, that they are attacks, that they are pointed directly at you and me? The politics of the next election will have plenty of time to digest. I don't want to get into that now. There are good policies, I must say. There are good policy proposals in both parties. That's not the problem. The problem is the people with whom the candidates are associating. I don't mean to say that one party is all evil. It's not. But I can tell you, anybody who sits down and dines with Nazis doesn't deserve support from a single one of us or any other Jew in America, or for that matter, any patriotic American. And if we can't stand up and say that, then we're not doing what God is calling us to do. Each of us is called to speak up. Each of us is called to wake up and have that awakening that Jacob had, to say, God is in this place and I didn't know it and I'm going to respond. Each of us is called to have that realization and then to do something about it. Jacob changes how he lives. He recognizes that there are angels among us. He changes his worldview. He's no longer on the run. He's now on the way to building a life. For us now, we need to wake up to the new reality. We need to build a new life that says this can still be that dream, that golden Medina, that land of gold. It can still be the home that we know it can be, but that we are called to stand up and speak out. So what do? Do we call out our Christian friends for not saying enough? Do we call out all of those who aren't speaking out enough as Jews and say, you're not saying enough? I don't think that's the answer. Although if you want to try it, be my guest. What I think we need to do, what I think the times are calling us to do, is to speak out on our behalf about what America means to us and what the American dream is for each of us. If we can explain that dream, if we can illustrate and draw that picture, then we can, for ourselves and for each other, help remember what America is at her finest. And when we do that, we'll find that the folks like Fuentes and Kanye go back under the rock where they belong. It's upon us to speak out on our American values. It's upon us to speak out on what it is that makes this country so great. It's upon us to speak out about what makes us as Jews an essential, integral part of this society. It's upon us to build that dream. It starts with each one of us taking responsibility for ourselves. It starts with each one of us saying, I myself have changed. I myself am not going to be what those Germans were. I'm not going to go along. I myself remember the journey. It's like the story on Passover night. We tell the Seder story as if we were in the first person. I myself was a slave and now I am free. That's what we're called to do. It is to tell the story in the first person. I myself, an American Jew, am part of this society, and here's why this is important, and here's what we need to do. When that becomes a part of our daily conversation, when that becomes our interactions with each other, we begin to build the world that our grandchildren need us to build. And when we do that, anti-Semitism goes away, never entirely, but it goes back to where it belongs in the trash heap of history. And instead, a sense of interaction, of respect, of dignity emerges. Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. God is in this place. Now it's our duty to remember that and to live by it and to help others see it too. Shabbat Shalom. We have a number of announcements this evening. First, thank you to Carol and Steve Rosenthal and Steve German and Jeanette Trouth, who were our greeters this evening. We hope everybody was welcomed warmly. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study at 8:30. At 4:30, Alan Goodis will be with us to lead a song-leading workshop for teens. And at 7:30, Alan will be performing a concert here tomorrow night. We hope you can join us for that. And he'll be here for Shabbat morning services tomorrow morning as well. Sunday morning, we have next door our religious school at 9:30. The Brotherhood Brunch Series will welcome Cantor Reinwald, who will discuss his experience with CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates. And you'll have a chance to get to know David a little bit better, which is always a good thing. I can tell you I've gotten to know him well, and it's a good thing. I think he might even say the same thing back about me. You never know. Well, maybe not. I don't know. At 5 o'clock, we have taught winter activities in the auditorium. And at 12:30, you're teaching your trope class on Sunday as well. Busy day for you. It is a busy weekend. On Tuesday, our Talmud class at 12 noon. On Wednesday, our Parshat HaShavua class at 12 noon. Hebrew school will be in session Wednesday afternoon. Evening meditation Wednesday at 6. Thursday, Cooking Like a Jewish Grandmother class via Zoom. This week, it will be Sarah Perman teaching how to make soup. Sarah, make sure your fuses are all working. There was a little issue this last week. But it's all better now, right, Mara? Right, Mara?
Yeah, it was when you watch the video, you're just going to learn everything about electricity.
So are latkes better in the air fryer or in the regular fryer?
Well, obviously doesn't think something with oil is better than something without oil.
Fair enough. Next Friday evening Shabbat service is at 7 o'clock. Lots going on at the temple this week. And a special event on December 14th. Our Shinshinim, our Israeli shlichim, our Israeli representatives and ambassadors, want to share some of their culture with all of us. We've had the great pleasure this fall of having Bar, who's a wonderful young woman, Bar Levi, as a part of our religious school. And she and the other Shinshinim are going to be coming together to play games and create art and make music and dance and eat Israeli food. It will take place on Wednesday the 14th at 5:30 p.m. The program is free and open to everyone, but we do need you to register. Please register so we have enough food for everybody, and you can register on our website. It's a wonderful night to celebrate Israeli culture and for us to say thank you to Bar for all that she has given to our kids and to our school in particular. I believe that's all the announcements. Anything from you?
That is it.
Then we shall return to our service as we conclude. We rise now for Aleinu L'Shabeach in body or in spirit. We turn to page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn now to the words of the mourner's Kaddish, to remembering those with whom we shared life, those to whom we gave life, those who gave life to us, those who joined together to create this congregation and this community. As a community, we recall Rose Bovich, Jack Braver, Sophie Nadich Brody, Leon Darling, Harry Davidson, Seymour Donner, R. Ben Fairman, Stuart Ginsburg, Faye Gottfried, Anna Greenberg, Reverend Converse Hunter, Stephen Carlson, Alexandria Lowe Claudel, Herbert Herbie Kravitz, Rose Krieger, Isidore Krauss, Shirley Krauss, John Kudrick, Milton Cooperstock, Nathan Lebov, Florence Lebov, Marshall Lebov, Esther Leff, Nathan Levinson, Bernard Levy, Zelda Merenstein, Lloyd Donald Michael, Ilsa Moser, Shirley Nathan, Pearl Perlberg, Saul Podolsky, Jerry Prince, Martin Rebb, Morris Rosen, Roselle Roth, Adolph Rothschild, Margaret Schwartz, Herman Schwartz, Maxine Scott, Emily Sarah Siegel, Linda Siddig Miles, Ruben Snyderman, Mary Soberai, Max Stoff, Francis Tannenbaum, Riva Weiss, Richard Wilson. And to those names, we add the names of those taken from us only in recent weeks: Ilsa Ruttenberg, Cantor Guy Bonnet. We join together and we rise as one community for the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam l'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God grant comfort to all the bereaved among us. And together we say, Amen. We conclude this evening with the singing of Elech Hamda Libi, which is found on page 11. Our thanks to the members of the band. We're thrilled to have you here. We especially like the Irish drum solo. We want more.
We'll get one more. Elech Hamda Libi. 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 Hosanna me'ala titaleim. Hosanna me'ala titaleim. Hosanna me'ala titaleim. Hosanna me'ala titaleim. Get a hip hop drum solo.
We join together for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן לחיים.
And please join me for the Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
And now the bongo solo.